continued downward trend in the Kenyan market. What's your view in terms of giving an explanation of why this has been the case for the last fortnight?
Well, a myriad of explanations. One, there's been price correction after third quarter banking results. So it's on the back of that that the market heated up a bit, and there's a ripple effect across the various counters. So there's profit taking. Aside from that, there's a portfolio reallocation where there are certain investors going into real estate, so they're liquidating to divert into real estate. But at the same time, with the primary market offers, there are also certain investors liquidating to go into that. But of course, fourth quarter, and especially in December, there's minimal activity as people focus on the holidays.
We know that the shilling has recovered a little bit after some losses that had something to do with the impact of the euro and the eurozone crisis, trading in the region of 80 shillings, 30 against the dollar. What's your call on the shilling going forward?
Well, going forward, the shilling will either maintain or probably marginally strengthen on the basis that there'll be inflows coming in from tourism. We know very well that tourists, especially from the West, come into the Kenyan market to seek warmer conditions, warmer weather conditions, trying to escape the extreme cold conditions. But at the same time, there have been good flows from the agricultural sector, favorable weather conditions, good prices on tea and coffee, and also the remittances from diaspora, though marginally down, have maintained the Kenyan currency.
All right, what we have seen on the fixed income market is the auctioning of the 91-day Treasury bill. Weighted yield somewhere in the region of 2.3%. Your views on Treasury bonds and whether government's going to be able to raise money as it's hoping to do for massive infrastructure projects?
Well, the government will definitely be successful. If you saw the results on the 91-day T-bill auction, there was a 289% subscription level. And this just shows that the market is awash with cash, seeking investment opportunities. Hence the decline, albeit marginally, on the T-bill weighted average rate. Right. So the government should be successful. There
are some concerns, though, when we look at the bond market. Many calls for a secondary market just to diversify the pool of investors, because what tends to happen with the Treasury bills and other government securities is that institutional investors, and particularly the Kenyan banks, are those who tend to subscribe the most, over 80%, and there's a sense that there's a need to widen that perspective a bit.
Well, it's neither here nor there, because even going forward, bond market, fixed income market will mainly be controlled by banks and institutional investors, for the simple reason that I mean, volumes. These where the big funds are, and especially long-term funds for institutional investors. But at the same time, for banks pursuing to grow their interest income, they'll still be focused on on the bond market.
What's raised attention this week is the rights issue by the Kenya Power and Lighting Company. The electricity company is trying to raise somewhere in the region of $119 million to improve on its network infrastructure and its transmission lines. How's the market responding to this?
Well, this week we've seen only 2 million shares, 2 million rights traded at about 3 shillings. Trading started on Wednesday of this week, so I think today has just been the third day trading. But most investors exhibit a herding behavior, whereby they want to see, they don't want necessarily to be the first ones to trade. They want to see where the price will be at before they can follow. But at the same time, mainly for institutional investors, they're just looking at the information memorandum. Their investment analysts are doing the numbers, and the investment committees meeting. It takes a bit of some time. Right. But next week we should be able to see a lot of activity coming through.
And I mean, what will fuel that activity? I mean, effectively only 29% of Kenyans are connected to the grid, so there's a huge need to electrify this country. So these are going to be major projects being undertaken by KPLC. The government has decided not to participate in this rights issue, rather offering a soft loan to the company. How severe is the electricity situation in your view, and how much does the market need to come in and participate in order to meet the general requirements of electrification in Kenya?
Well, I don't think the situation is very severe, especially with a lot of government support coming in on the, say, thermal generation front, and easing the burden on KPLC. KPLC actually has a reserve capacity of about 15%. We find that KPLC at least has been able to, in the recent years, has been able to meet demand, and also going forward, they want to mobilize these funds to be able to conduct their system enhancement and expansion projects.
Another company also to watch is Safaricom, and not because it's the largest constituent on the bourse, but because they've returned to the bond market for a second tranche of a 5-year note. They're trying to raise $55 million also to upgrade their network, and many people are saying to take on the real competition that's coming in from Airtel, and also to deal with the impact of the regulator's decree on slashing tariffs. And they've got to come up with another strategy, and basically the strategy is to improve on the quality of the network. What do you make of Safaricom?
Well, I think it was expected. Safaricom has the biggest market share, and of course with the lowering of tariffs, volumes then increase, and this impacts on their system and capacity. So it was therefore vital for them to look for funds to be able to enhance their network, because going forward, I think what will matter is value add to customers, and in order to achieve that, Safaricom is focusing on raising funds to be able to expand and enhance their network. But I'm thinking that there's a lot of, they'll definitely be successful, because Safaricom is a good company, strong fundamentals and profitable at the same time.